What up, everybody? This is Brendan with All American Maker, and I'm joined here with Barbarian Braunny.
What's going on, guys? Good morning, man. This is nice to hang out on a. I don't even know what day is. Is it Tuesday now or Mr.
Tuesday.
Friday? Awesome.
Yeah, so we're just hanging out today. I think there's already a little crew in the chat already,
Yeah,
and
popping up already.
we're gonna just talk EDC, and we're also gonna talk about the difference in the community and engagement between YouTube and Instagram, and for me, how they're not like one isn't better than the other; they're just different. And I just want to talk about like how people engage on each platform.
Absolutely. I mean, starting right off the bat, I mean, I will say right away they are completely different.
Hmm.
Engagement, the community is different. I always say this on my channel, like EDC community in a whole is absolutely awesome. It's always an awesome group of people. It doesn't matter whether you like Benchmade or Spyderco or whatever. Everybody still kind of bands together. But I will tell you though, you're absolutely right when you talk about YouTube versus just Instagram alone. The community is completely different group of people.
Yeah. For me, I love like YouTube, and I'm getting more into the lives like this because I like actually engaging with people. Um, like I haven't posted an actual edited video in like 2 months now, which I need to get back to. Just because, like for me, I'm making products. I'm literally a one man show running a company, and it's a lot easier for me to sit down and talk to a camera for an hour than it is to set up an entire thing, film it, edit it. That's like 2 days worth of work.
Oh, sometimes it's more because sometimes you have to make different parts. Like some of the videos I do for Crispy Donut Community or now Daily Knife. Those
Mhm.
e-curt tests. I've got to sit down in here. I got to open the knife up brand new because we always want to use a brand new knife. Look at it, talk about it. Then I got to tear everything down, and sometimes I got to move to the kitchen to do like one part. So there's almost two videos right there. And then
Mhm.
then depending on the weather, I gotta go out in the garage and beat the heck out of a knife and see how well it holds up. And then I gotta go
Yeah.
outside. So there's 4 parts to a video: tearing down a camera, sometimes the lights, and then go through the edit process, and then throw the B-roll on there. Like you said, sitting down on a camera like this, you and I talking during a live is so much easier. You your time is so valuable when it comes to, you're making all your products. Sitting down and then
Mhm.
now creating content and editing, that's a lot of work. It's a lot of time consumption because editing, who knows if it's an hour-long video or 10-minute video, it can take you a long time to sit down there and stare at it because you've already lived it.
Yeah, and it's funny, there was a couple videos last year that I filmed. I actually refilmed one of them 3 times, because I was doing it for, somebody, and I kept getting the information wrong, or they didn't tell me the information up front, so we
Yeah.
kept making edits, and I literally had to refilm the entire video 3 times.
I've been there. I've been there more than once. More than once. It's like, oh wait, that's not right. I think one of my first videos, I rolled with it, and because I don't do a whole lot of planning on some of my videos, but I rolled with it, and I couldn't say CRKT. Is it Pilar, Pilar, Pilar? I couldn't pronounce
Mhm.
it, and I sat there in front of the camera, and I kept saying it over and over and over. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna hit record and let the comments roast me because I don't know how to pronounce it. I still don't know if it's Pilar, Pilar. I don't know to this day. It's been like a long time. So
Oh,
I just
yeah.
sometimes you have to roll with it.
Yeah, the last video I made was on a sling bag, and so it's made by Americans in Colorado, but the guy that owns the company has Mexican roots and heritage.
Okay.
He speaks fluent Spanish. A lot of the influence in the names of the products are Spanish. So I totally I didn't have to refilm the whole video, but I totally got the name of the bag wrong. And had to re-film just like a small section.
Uh Here, speaking of Chris Valdez just got in the house. He could probably be better at pronouncing. Like you said, I'm I'm not very good at words and names. This
Mhm.
is the Urban EDC, and I don't wanna butcher it, but, I call it Baquero because that's how it's spelled, but I believe it's
Mm.
Becero, and I'm probably butchering that. I apologize for anybody listening, but I said Bec in every video I've posted this knife, and I know I butchered it. Names are so hard, and then you talk about knife names or, EDC slings, pouches. I love hearing the person say the name, but man, I hate butchering it so bad because I know I do it all the time.
Yeah. So, I mean, as we're talking, if anybody in the comments has any input or questions on like what we're talking about is the difference between the communities on YouTube and on Instagram and how the engagement is different. One is not better than the other, but they are vastly different. And so we might go on a few rabbit trails, but that's essentially what we're talking about right now. So if you guys have any questions on like if you're trying to get into YouTube or if you're already doing YouTube, but you're like, it's way easier to just post a photo on Instagram than take a day or two to film and edit a video and upload on YouTube. Like, if you have any questions on those things, feel free to drop them in the comments.
It's a gamble too. I started out in Instagram. I mean, I think when you talk about the difference between Instagram and YouTube, Instagram was hard as far as at
Hmm.
first. Like, I took the photos, I posted daily, I still post daily. Like, that's still my dream. Like, I love being there, I love taking the photos. But then there's that lull, Meta got their hands in there, and, hopefully that changes soon, but, you post pictures like we like to post of our knives and pokey things. They're not
Hmm.
weapons, but, they're deemed as weapons, and we get super limited in who gets to see our stuff, and that bugged me so much because I would spend so much time on setting up, a group of photos, and then, it doesn't get seen, so I went out and I said, I think, what gosh, am I on year 2 or I'm trying to think how long I've been on YouTube. But I switched over to YouTube at the same time doing both because I was so limited. I was like, I spend so much time with this. I'm gonna keep perfecting my craft and come over to YouTube. I will
Yeah.
say the comments on YouTube are a little bit more harsh, and the community over on EDC on Instagram is a lot more PG friendly. I will say that, which is okay. If you don't like a knife, it, that's fine. You can say in the comments. It doesn't bother me, but
Hmm.
people are a little bit more apt to tell you how they really feel about it on YouTube than they are over on Instagram. I will tell you that. I think it's because
Yeah.
you can personally message people on Instagram versus YouTube, and that's what I like about Instagram. You can get more personable, but you can be more
Hmm.
like engaged. Like these lives,
Yeah.
are way more fun.
Well, and so I think the biggest difference in the platforms is the fact that, like on Instagram, if you're following somebody, you want to engage with what they're doing because you like it.
Yep.
Whereas YouTube, it's the second largest search engine on the internet. People are looking like they might see your video and they're like, oh, information on this knife, right? Well,
Yep.
then they watch the video and they're like, oh, I don't like this guy. um, and then they
Yep.
roast you because they can watch your video, they can engage with you and not even be a follower. And the only reason they came to your video is because they were searching for that topic or that
Yep.
item and they want info. So it's like two very different purposes behind the content
Mhm.
because, like, on one hand, you want it to be like Instagram where everyone like just loves your content
Yeah.
and supports you.
And they
But
like
there's,
and subscribe just because of that. Because of who it
yeah.
is or something like that, they that like button's so much easier on Instagram.
Hmm. Oh, Nate said I did try making some shorts a while back. Got a ton of views, but very little engagement.
Yeah.
Instagram, I get a ton of engagement for me. Yeah, also depends on the person. Like if you've been on Instagram long enough, your engagement goes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if you don't keep up with it, like, I've got a personal Instagram, and I
Hmm.
also just kinda made it, like, kinda private because I post kids of my and pictures of my family and my kids and stuff, and, I don't post as much, but I used
Yeah.
to. I used to post a ton, and I'd get a ton of engagement, but when I stopped and I just started slowly posting things, your engagement just drops, plummets. I
Hmm.
think the difference on YouTube, though, is a lot of it's more like the evergreen, so if you post, like, videos like review videos. So the
Yep.
CRJB I just posted yesterday, it's not doing well right now, but it's what we call evergreen content where it's going to slowly grow and somebody might be looking for that knife. Like you said, they're searching for it because YouTube is a search engine. That's really what a lot of people go on. They're going on
Yeah.
for information, they're going for education, they're going for entertainment. YouTube is just like this giant platform. And like you said, it's the second largest search engine. It's actually also the second most viewed on TVs. It's almost about the top Netflix. Like YouTube right
Mhm.
now, people are watching this on the TV. I'm guilty of it.
Yeah.
I mean, right behind all these patches is my TV. And I sit at a desk right here with YouTube on all day. I hardly
Hmm.
watch all the other platforms because I enjoy the platform.
Oh yeah. And the cool thing is, like, if you're posting on YouTube, like, I'll post a video. If it doesn't get a ton of engagement or views after a week, I actually will go in and I'll change the title, I'll add to
Oh
the
yeah.
description. And I've literally seen a video do this, and then as soon as I change it, it goes whew. And I had one video where
Yep.
it got like 150 views the first week. I changed those things, and after a month, it had like 5 or 6 thousand views, just
See,
because it
it's
was about the
crazy.
keyword search.
Yep. And and that's the hardest thing. I can't perfect it. I mean, I make the videos and stuff, but the information in like on the description, like you said, the keywords, I'm not good at
Hmm.
that part. I mean, that I don't enjoy that part. I enjoy the content and, you know, showing off cool things. Like, that's my thing. Like,
Yeah.
that's what's cool about Instagram. The problem with Instagram is it's not evergreen content like I was saying earlier. You post that
No.
picture, and it's really gonna show up for about 3 days. After the 3 days, that person's probably gotta be following you, or they gotta go to your page. It doesn't show up in the feed. Where, like, on
Right.
YouTube, it could show up a month later. 'Cause I've had videos where, like, I actually had a video just recently. I posted it a long time ago, and all of a sudden I started looking at my AdSense. I was like, "What's going on here?" And I started getting all these followers, and I found out it was from a video from like 6, 7 months ago that started taking off.
Really.
And it's cool because your stuff sticks around for a long time and it keeps getting pushed, which is cool.
Yeah. Um, a buddy of mine, he actually posted, I think it was almost 8 years ago now, because he told me this story about 4 years ago. He posted a video totally unrelated to his content about deep frying a turkey.
Ooh.
And the first year, it was like right before Thanksgiving. He got like 500 views or something like that. The next year, 10,000 views. And it was like, oh, wow. Like, because people were searching, like, how do you deep fry a turkey? And
Yeah,
then the
yeah.
third year, it got 100,000 views because it already had 10,000. And people were like, well, this must be a good video. He
Yep.
made 5 grand the third year just in Google AdSense off of that one video.
Wow. See, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. That's pretty awesome. Chris says here, I think Instagram is hard now because they block your content. Is YouTube the same? Like, so if we swear on YouTube, you show some of the boomsticks or pew pews, yeah, your stuff isn't gonna get promoted hardly at all. It is the same on YouTube. Like, if I post a picture of, or sorry, a video on YouTube on a knife, if it's too tactical, I will see the big like decrease. If it's,
Hmm.
like a Leatherman or a tool, it does better. If I do a flashlight, I mean, and maybe some if anybody's on my channel, which I see a lot of you guys are, uh, on if you don't like flashlights and you're more on my channel to see my flashlight stuff, it doesn't do well, but it gets more promoted because it's not deemed as a weapon. And it is the same, but it doesn't get quite as banned like it does on Instagram.
Yeah, and there are actually settings where if you essentially set up your channel to where it's not viewable by anyone under the age of 18, it'll show your videos a lot more.
Okay, I
Uh,
never messed with that one. I should.
yeah, and especially if you're posting a video versus going live, you can make all of that changes ahead of time on that specific video and
Yep.
make it, like, obviously say not for kids and several other things. And there's more in the background that you can do to actually make it more viewable to adults.
That is true, that is true, and You have to. You almost forced to on when you're posting a video on YouTube to click this is not made for kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, all my videos are not made for kids. I mean, they get bored. I mean, I've tried to have my
Yeah.
kid watch it. And I let him watch some of the daily knife stuff because he sees me out, dropping bricks on knives and beating him up and torturing him up as I'm filming him. And I let him watch those parts. He enjoys that, but I don't think he just thinks I'm breaking stuff on purpose, which we're testing the limits.
Uh-huh. Oh, Tim said, I find my shorts on YouTube get way more views than on my IG account, but if I do a full YouTube video, I get very low views.
It's see here you're kind of going down another rabbit hole, and I've seen this and noticed this too. So I'm actually limiting myself from doing shorts because I was getting a huge amount of views. Like it was like the 16 to 20,000 views on my YouTube shorts, and obviously that's not as big as some out there, but I was getting those views. But what it was is then those people who are liking and subscribing are coming back for the shorts, and I don't enjoy short videos. I enjoy doing the long form. I think that's, to me, that's where YouTube is, and
Hmm.
we're moving to the TV. Where I think if you do focus on shorts and there's such thing as shorts channels and long form channels.
Yeah.
And if your subscribers are coming to watch the shorts, they're not watching your long form videos. And I've been like doing my best to limit on the shorts because I want my long form content to do better.
Hmm.
And I guess going back to talk about Instagram, if you were posting shorts on Instagram a year ago, 2 years ago, they were blowing up. Like they were doing great. Now it seems like Instagram's moving back towards the photos as much. At least that's what I've noticed. As much as people will tell you, or Instagram wants to tell you they're going towards the videos, I think there's still a photo platform, which I like.
I think it's because literally all of their users just with brute force were like, no,
Yeah,
we're just going to
yeah,
keep posting photos.
yeah. Because there's other platforms. I mean, I know there's the social media. You can even bring TikTok involved, and obviously, if you post a
Mhm.
photo on TikTok, I mean, I've tried and it plummets.
Yeah, and TikTok is a whole nother animal where
Yeah.
people will engage and follow along more if it's literally you with a raw like phone angle, not
Yes.
nice like on your camera or anything, and just talking about something that you're
Yes.
passionate about that they can connect with. That's
Yes.
really all it is.
Some of my biggest, like one of my biggest videos is literally me pulling out my phone,
Mhm.
putting a Leatherman in front of a Christmas tree, and telling people to check this out for Christmas. It hit like 100,000 views like immediately.
Yeah.
I do my camera. I do this really like cinematic, like unboxing, flip it open, plummets. Like TikTok
Yeah.
is a whole new animal, a whole different animal, in my opinion.
Right, and I have absolutely sucked at making content on there. Um,
It's hard. You have to find a niche. I mean,
yeah.
I just started it and I hate it over there. I don't enjoy it. Like I'm seeing content that I just don't like to go watch. YouTube and Instagram, I go to the feed, I'm gonna like 99% of stuff. Like on Instagram, I
Mhm.
hardly get the ads anymore. I'm seeing
Yeah.
everybody's stuff. Like I'm seeing Tim's stuff right there. I see his name. I see Chris's stuff. That pops up on Instagram for me.
Mhm.
Same with YouTube, but man, it's TikTok. I just stuff there. It's like looking over my shoulder, see if anybody's seeing what I'm looking at by accident. You know what I mean?
Somebody that everybody here might know is Matt Martinez. He used to work for Urban EDC. He's blown up on TikTok for like dad related content. He's got like
Okay.
literally the day before they shut it down for 12 hours, he hit 100,000 followers. And right after it came back, he actually got invited onto a TV show in New York City because of it.
Wow.
Oh, what's her name? She's a singer, I think. She does a lot of covers, but she's the host of the show. Anyway, he was
Okay.
on national television for his TikTok because of that.
Wow.
Um, and now he has a podcast about the dad life and stuff. But it's literally just him talking to the camera about stupid dad stuff. Like, originally it was like, walk into the room and you walk on Legos or something like
Mm.
just making
Mhm.
fun of the dad life. And now he's just like, taken off. And that's really all it is raw and real. Like people like to follow
Yeah,
the real person versus like the makeup version of whatever you've shown them.
that is true. Somebody told me in my, I think last week in the live or my live, they were talking about how they just found my channel and they ended up watching a bunch of videos and I asked them, said, which videos do you like more? And a lot of them liked the raw, not podcast, sorry, vlog style where I'm walking around like I went to the store and bought
Hmm.
some cases for nice. People like that one apparently, and like you said, I think that across a platform and even Instagram. Instagram, I still think it's all about like really good photos, but you put a hand in there, like holding your EDC gear, like that's the stuff you actually have. I think people like that because that's like real. It's real stuff. I mean, I'm all
Yeah.
about product photography. I love it, but I think what you just said you nailed on the head. People like to follow the person, what the person's doing.
Hmm. Yeah. So now that we've gone down that rabbit hole,
I see
um,
a couple questions in the chat here.
oh yeah, let's see. What was the last one that we I think
We answered Chris's about the
Chris?
Instagram, and then
Oh, and then
Tim says, "I
Tim.
find my shorts on YouTube." And I think right after that,
Mhm.
Drew dude said something. I said the word KNIFE in a vertical stream on 1 minute ago, and YouTube deleted it. So you said the
Dang.
word,
Hmm.
really? See that's it's weird what gets put in there. Yeah,
Mhm.
keyword tools is definitely a good one. Um, Nate EDC says Instagram Reels do well. See, I'm seeing differently, but that's I think it comes down to like we talked about YouTube Shorts versus YouTube long form. I think it comes down to who follows you kind of thing too. But in the EDC niche though, it's a little different. I think that
Yeah.
we all kind of follow each other. I mean, that's a tough one on Instagram. I think it's back and forth. Also depends on how shadow banned you are.
Hmm. Which I wish there was a way to actually see that.
Yeah, no, I agree. I fully agree. Chris says thoughts on thumbnails and titles being clickbait. I'll admit it works on me. It works on me, but
Yeah.
boy, do I just feel so dirty if I put clickbait on there. And then I did one a short on the SOG Power Pint, and I said it was just something like trick nobody knows about, and it really was. Everybody knows about it. It's on the back of the packaging, and
Hmm.
man, people roasted me in the comments. Like a lot of people, like, oh, I didn't know about that. And then the other half of the comments were like, oh, this is clickbait. And when I read that, I just feel just so dirty. I don't know. I mean, it
There's
works.
there's a clickbait title that I accidentally made. Um, it was from the Warwood Tool Perfect Axe, and literally on the title of it, it says the perfect axe on the cover photo.
Oh yeah.
Well, I don't know if you guys have spent any time on TikTok at all. You've seen Thorin Bradley who like splits wood and like women
Oh yeah.
fawn over
Does the
him, and he's
tricks.
got like 10 million followers now. Well, that video keeps getting shown to people that watch his videos on YouTube because he's all about like axe content.
Yep.
Um, and I don't know why, but like a month or two ago, it literally just started climbing in views. Like it had like 100 and something, and I didn't change anything. And then all of a
Oh,
sudden it hit like five, six. I think it almost has 6,000 views or something like that now, just
dude.
because of his videos.
And and I think there's a place for the clickbait. I mean, gosh, I mean, how many times have I probably put like epic EDC? Like that's just what I call my EDC. I think all my EDCs are
Hmm.
epic, but I think me as a viewer, and this is me as a viewer on Instagram, viewer on TikTok, a viewer on YouTube, and so on. Those words, I mean, when see EDC, I see awesome, perfect, epic, the
Hmm.
best. Like I'm drawn into that. I mean, I don't want to see a knife that says this knife is a knife, or I don't know how to describe it. Like what wouldn't be good, but if it says the best Benchmade. Like, I'm gonna watch that because, like, I want
Yeah.
what is this the best Benchmade? I'm gonna use my best judgment, of course. Like, nah, there's a better one out there, I might say, or you know what, you got to use your
Hmm.
best judgment as a viewer. I mean, there's clickbait. but you have to use your best judgment. I mean, that's just if you fall for it and you get mad for it, well, unfortunately, that's a you problem, I think.
Yeah. Sid said, "My views plummet when I do photos of me holding my gear." Sorry,
I
Sid.
don't know.
Tim said, "I was saying to my wife yesterday, maybe if I show my face, it might look more engaging.
All right, Tim, what'd
It's
your
worth
wife
a
say to
shot."
that? I wanna know what your wife
What?
said about that. Because my wife
Oh
my
yeah.
wife says, "Why do you show your face? You got a face for radio."
Ow.
Earl's right
Earl
though here.
said, "Yeah,
Your
your
followers are
followers."
just as interested as the creator as they are in the content they're covering. I enjoy watching reviews in the vlog style, like Mikey Daily. I love his that when he started doing this. It's the thing
He's
about the
got
vlog styles.
personality.
Yeah, they want to see a personality. I want to do more vlogs. The problem is they like we talked about in the very beginning. Your time of editing. When I do a vlog, it takes a long time to edit because usually you just kind of leave the camera rolling and you talk at it. A lot of times I just start rambling. It's like, yeah, nobody wants to listen to me ramble like that. So then I got to edit it. So if I make a
Mhm,
video and I want it to be 30 minutes, but I've made 4 hours of whatever, you
mhm.
have to watch that to edit it out. That's the hard part. I don't think there's an AI out there. And if there is, I can't afford it to edit the crap out. I guess without
Yeah.
saying it bad.
Tim said, Mine just laughed at me."
Yeah, it's
uh,
a it's a game out there. I mean, and I enjoy it. I enjoy it.
yeah. Well, let's change topics a little bit. I want to see, and I didn't ask you this ahead of time, but what are like some of your top favorite EDC items you have that are American made?
American made. Well, I showed this backstage. I just picked this up. Love it. The mini iridium from Benchmade.
Oh yeah.
I wish I had this when I was in Texas, though. I was down in Texas, did a little fishing, did some ocean swimming. I brought a Benchmade bug out with me though, and I wish I would have had this, but it came literally. It was on my doorstep when I got back. So that's one of
Mm,
my favorites. I know everybody is afraid, and I shouldn't say afraid. I'm afraid of it too. Upset with the Benchmade tax, but that's one of my favorite ones. So I'll cater over to the Kershaw. This is American made.
oh
USA
yeah.
Magnicut. This is the Iridium. I just got this one as well, so I've been really fond of it. That would be
Hmm.
another favorite American made. Um, been rocking a lot of Data Crew pouches, American made as well.
Yeah.
Their new one,
That's a good size.
Snack Break. Got loop on one side. Been
Oh yeah.
rocking that. I've been really enjoying that. Dickinson Trading Post, another American made. I enjoyed that. Trying to think, go down the rabbit hole of Leatherman. I think some people are starting to say Leatherman's going not so American. Maybe you know more about that. What's your thoughts on how American made is Leatherman still?
Uh, so I mean, up until this point, everything they've made is machined and made in their
Okay.
factory in Portland, Oregon.
Okay.
Um, what they do in the future, I have no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another American made I've been really enjoying, obviously. Awesome Hank. Huge fan of
Oh
Awesome
yeah.
Hank's Hanks. Of course, American made. I need to, and maybe you can help me out. I think we were talking about this. You were in my chat on Friday. American made flashlights. Um,
Hmm.
I don't have, I don't think I have really any real American made ones. I have some really cool flashlights, but I need your help there. That's where I need your help. Okay.
This is the Maglite. It's I need to put a new battery in it. I think it's almost dead. I just bought a whole pack of the 123 batteries that this uses, but I love it because it's got this clip, but I also found a clip on Amazon of all places,
Okay.
Made for my shotgun and a few other guns that I have that are the
The
clip
clipping on?
is yeah, it slips
Oh,
onto the end and then this goes in and the clip itself is actually made in America.
okay.
Um,
All right.
but
And
these
that's
flashlights use
Maglite?
the yeah, it's a 123 battery.
Okay.
So it's like a mini C battery almost.
Yeah. Yep, I got a few flashlights with those.
Um, but I
Is it
have every
aluminum
color they
or
have in these.
is that made out of, aluminum or it is aluminum?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I mean, it's not titanium or anything, but it is fairly light, and I like them a lot.
It looks like a good size. Looks like a good size. I like the frag
Yeah,
pattern too.
yeah, good for like holding on to it and not slipping.
Yeah, definitely do like that.
I mean, obviously, some people like smaller flashlights, but
Yeah, I was gonna say I
I
gravitate
don't
towards,
know.
like it's a little bit smaller, but not my much. Let's see
And
what am I gonna
if you pay attention on Amazon, these are on sale for like $40.
Oh, they're that oh, okay, I was gonna ask you what the price runs about. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you buy them when you're not paying attention, you'll pay 65.
Okay.
Um,
I'm
but,
sure I can do that.
if you wait for a sale, they've been $40 a lot of times, and I like it.
Okay. I'll have
But
to
these
check
are
those out. Like I said,
100%.
my
Oh, go
go ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say my flashlight game is good. I got a nice flashlight game, but
Mhm.
it's not American made, and so, yeah, I'm gonna have to check
Sure.
that one out. I was gonna check out Streamlight, but you mentioned they might not be.
They're not. So these are made in Ontario, California, right
Okay.
outside of LA, about 40-ish miles. But Streamlight, other than their top tier flashlights, are all made in China now.
Dang. See,
Uh,
I was gonna pick one up,
yeah,
but it was like $30 at my local Scheels,
yeah.
of course. Going back to knives, one of my most favorite
Oh,
American made, the Zan, of
yeah.
course,
I do not
which
have one of those.
you gotta have one. I think everybody needs one. They are not cheap, and not all of us are like Chris Fidels, who's got like, Chris, how many you got, like 20 Chris Reeve knives now? He just
Yeah,
sent me a picture. He got one new one yesterday.
yeah. I mean, I use Comey bags pouches.
Okay,
He's actually in Oregon as well. But
okay.
he makes all of these by hand. It's one dude. Um, I don't have it full of patches, but OEG and then my Do Hard Things patch.
Heck yeah.
But it's full of all of my like titanium slash gray EDC. Pretty much
That's my
everything in this
style, so I
pouch
like it.
is titanium except for the flashlight.
I like that. What
Yeah.
pen you got in there?
Uh, so that is the other thing is I cannot find my tactile turn titanium pen.
Ah,
I lost it. And it
go
drives me
figure.
nuts. Um, I had it and I lost it, so I might have to buy another one. Even though I already have 8 tactile turn pens.
Oh, man.
But I'm low key obsessed with key bars,
Okay.
which are awesome. I've got this one has the keys for my store, and this one is the keys to my shop. So then I can tell them apart because one has texture and one does not.
I've yet to get my hands on one of those. I think I'm gonna have to. I
Hmm.
don't like keys, and I literally have 1 key. Well,
Hmm.
2. My pickup key and my house key. I try to get
Mm.
rid of all keys. I believe it or not, I got padlocks on some of my garages. All of my other keys, I don't carry on me. I don't like them. 'Em. They're bulky,
Sure.
they're hard to carry, and that would probably be something that would help me carry them because I hate when they're just, like, jingling around or whatever.
Oh
I just
yeah.
that would alleviate all that.
And then you just pull them out, use it, throw it back in. And the cool thing is it has other tools too. So you've got like this is a titanium pry bar, bottle opener. It's got a little ruler on there. There's a nail file on the side of it. It's kind of like an all-in-one.
Honestly, that's a nice tool.
Um, and then This one has like a box opener, box cutter. It's got a whole bunch of different things. Excuse me. I've got like I think 5 or 6 key bars.
Okay.
Um, but I mainly just use these two.
How TSA approved are they?
Oh,
Safe.
they go through.
Okay.
Um, I don't take these with me because I'm not gonna take my shop keys.
Yeah, I guess that
but
makes sense. You don't really need that. You're right.
yeah. Sometimes I'll take a different one. But then like when I go places now, I have like this guy, which is
Okay.
my pry bar that I modeled after the old school paint can opener.
I was gonna say it looks like a paint can opener. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's solid titanium and it's got a bottle opener in here. Uh and
Yeah.
then obviously the pry.
And of course,
But
it's second as a keychain holder. You can put your keychain on here, put on the keys too, if you don't have a
yeah.
key bar, which you don't do. So I guess not for you, but anybody else that gets it.
Hmm.
I like that.
And then most people now have not heard of Hog Doggins, but he was
Okay.
like one of the OGs of EDC. Like I met him in 2019 and he was really big at the time. But he makes these beard combs that are solid titanium.
Nice.
These are pretty awesome. And then he also makes pocket pucks, which in the Zins community and in different places, these would probably be super popular. But
Okay.
this is solid titanium,
Oh, that's cool.
and this was $200. And then I had it engraved by KF Studios in Colorado,
That's pretty cool.
and that actually matches my. I did a solid. It was actually the first solid titanium challenge coin before Peter McKinnon. Um, which is this one. I had a sandblasted version, and then this is the shiny version. That's the matching side to the pocket puck.
Okay.
And then the other side said, "Do what you love, All American Maker."
I like that. It's really cool.
Yeah. So that's solid titanium, which is pretty awesome, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for titanium. I mean, I
Hmm.
used to be really well, I still am into like blacked out EDC gear, but titanium is just something about a
Oh yeah.
full titanium loadout. Ooh, ooh, I'm a sucker for it. Uh,
Uh, Most people, I mean, he hasn't even posted in 2 years, so I think he's out of the game. But Rustic EDC used to make these. Um, and then KF Studios engraved them for me, but this is solid titanium as well.
that's pretty sweet.
And then the titanium tape measure.
Ah, yeah.
I like it because like I do a lot of product development, so having something really small in my pocket where I can take measurements is
Yeah.
helpful. And then I also have this ruler from who are they in California? Yeah, oh, County Com. They
Oh,
make
yeah.
this
Yep, counting.
too, which is a X-Acto knife, but the whole housing is titanium. Yeah. So I don't know. I've been a sucker for titanium for a long time.
It, I haven't really. I would say in the last 3 years, titanium has really kind of made its way in. You talk about counting cam. I've got their knife right here. One of their knives. This is when I went to
Oh,
a torture test. American made, because they are who are making the Voyage Blade Works knives. The
oh,
American made Voyage Blades. I don't know if anybody's seen that video, but I did just launch that one for them on Sunday. And, American made knives.
Chris, I need that TI measuring tape.
Yeah.
I did a video on it. Honestly, I'm having a brain fart right now. Oh, it's Tech Accessories.
Okay. I've heard of them actually.
They're in Arizona. Uh, so And it wasn't honestly that expensive. I mean, it's expensive for a tiny little measuring tape, but it's EDC, so we're used to overpaying for
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
What do you got on you right now? Like what's your EDC that you've been gravitating too, like because obviously we're all waiting to see your all American carry, and I can't say that right now. My EDC isn't fully all American.
It's usually this pouch.
Okay,
Um, like I'll just throw it in my car or take it with me because I have three different locations where I'm constantly, like my store, my shop, and my house, and they're all 10 minutes from each other. So
okay,
uh, I'll have the pouch with me, and then I have everything with me wherever I go, or I'll throw it in a backpack or something.
okay. Yeah, the pouch is honestly a thing. I think a lot of people ask like, how do you carry your pouch? And the pouch is a very important thing. I mean, I carry
Hmm.
so much stuff in like I don't always carry it in this one. This is usually like if I'm traveling or going somewhere like for a longer day. But I carry
Yeah.
the smaller pouches, which like these ones. I carry these small ones. Like it's a little bit smaller than what you got, but man, it carries everything else I got in. You're like, it
Oh
carries
yeah.
my Leatherman stuff, my all the bits and whatnot. And the pouches, like I said, it's a very important thing because you don't have to
Hmm.
have everything in your pockets. I mean, as cool as that would be to be able to carry my full EDC in my pockets, would just be it wouldn't be feasible. I mean, then
Yeah.
we gotta start talking belts and we start talking about that. Then you're talking about pants and you're going down another rabbit hole of EDC because if you
Right.
carry everything, like that's you talk about what makes things important. I mean, it comes with carry. I don't I carry outside the home, a CCD, boomstick and
Hmm.
there's belts that, now have to come into and holsters. I think I saw somebody in here saying, "Oh, yeah,
Uh,
my alien
all of
gear
this.
holsters are my most." Yeah, yeah.
These are condition one cases. That has three shotguns. And then there's pistol cases that go down.
Yep, yep, and, it's a rabbit hole. ADC alone, we just to keep things like it in line, like, there's so much that goes in. It's not just like carrying a knife. Now,
Hmm.
if you're like me, you're like and like you behind you, now where do you hold all that stuff? So now you talk about the cases and stuff, and
Yeah.
like he says here, my alien gear holsters are my most used American made item. I've also got alien
Mm.
gear, and I really do like those, and I like because they're modular. But now,
Yeah.
okay, you got that, you got the boomstick, but now you need a belt. You need to put
Hmm.
it on that because you can't just use any belt. You can't use the. I mean, you could, but it's not going to be
Right.
comfortable.
Um, I have one somewhere here. A company sent me a gun belt to do a video
Okay.
on, and I have been a slacker. But I can't remember what the company was. I'll have to find it. But I actually have all of my gun accessories are all American made.
Okay.
It took me a while.
That
Even
was
hearing protection. My gun cleaning kit is actually made in New York, up near Syracuse.
okay.
So it took me about a year and a half to get everything together that was actually American made. So I want to do a video on it, but I'm like, how well would that actually do?
I mean, I think you do well. I mean, I was gonna ask. I kind of said this earlier, so you're kind of leading into a question I was going to ask you. How in depth are you in when it comes to American made? And it sounds like you're talking all your gear, obviously for boomsticks
Hmm.
and pew pews is American made. Like you said, even for your ear pro, the same thing with knives. How American made do you go down this rabbit hole? And McNee's knives. McNee's is all about all of his American made stuff, even his CNC machine, the parts that he puts inside those to make his knives are all American made.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How far does your rabbit hole go down in your company? It's like your products, all American made.
Yeah, so I mean, like my wax melter is made in USA. It's a
Okay.
150-pound wax melter. Um, so it'll pour 600 candles or 3,000 roughly 2-ounce tins of like leather balm or whatever. Um, Takes about 8 to 10 hours for it to fully melt if it's full.
Okay.
So I'll usually run over to my shop at 5:30 in the morning, turn it on, and then I'll come back home and then go back in the afternoon to pour stuff because it's a waste of time if you're just sitting around waiting for it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But then as far as the ingredients in everything that I make, I've slowly been finding a like farmers that actually not only produce the stuff but grow, like say all of my soy wax is from farms in Iowa and it's turned into wax in Wisconsin. All of my beeswax is from a family run farm in Indiana. All of my cold pressed sunflower oil is from a family run farm in Nebraska. I actually just had Sierra on. She's like fourth generation of the family uh, that has been running this farm 125 years.
Wow.
Uh, like so, they haven't been making the sunflower oil for 125 years, but they've owned the farm that long.
Sure.
And then all of the beef tallow is from a family-run farm in Texas. All of the raw flaxseed oil is from a family-run farm out west. Like it's taken me almost 10 years to actually find these different places. And like my beard balm still isn't 100% grown in USA, but I'm working on this year switching that completely over. My solid colognes are all going to be switched over to 100% grown in USA this year, because I have been using shea butter because it was kind of like the industry standard for cosmetics as far as like moisturizing. But I'm switching to beef tallow because
Okay.
before about 110 years ago, actually even as far or close as like the 50s, beef tallow was like a standard in cosmetics because cosmetics were not an industry. And then when it became
Okay.
an industry, they cut beef tallow out because it like they couldn't make as much money off of it because there weren't giant farms at the time.
Okay.
And that was the when everybody's skin started going to crap. So they switched to chemicals for everything to replace it, and now everybody needs 15 more things to fix all their problems. But beef tallow was actually one of the main ways that they moisturize their skin because it's like natural to a body, not the human body, but like for beef cattle, it was a part of like how their body kept the moisture. And when you render that down into a solid, and then you add it into like solid cologne or beard balm or any of the things, like I have a hand and body balm now. It rejuvenates your skin and brings all the moisture back, so it doesn't get all dried out.
I could have used some of that this last week. I've been peeling like crazy. I
Hmm.
almost got frostbite on my sunburn. Man, it's been
Oh wow.
going. I mean, I've been dry like crazy. I could have used some of that.
Yeah, so I mean, uh, all of the products that I make, I'm going down the rabbit hole as far as it'll go.
Yeah.
um,
It's gotta be kind of fun though. It's almost like you're, I don't wanna call it a game, but it's almost like this quest you're making to
mhm.
go down this rabbit hole of supporting America, and that's really cool. I think it's awesome hearing about that.
Yeah, and like some people, they don't get it. They're like, well, if you can get it cheaper somewhere else, why not do that? And for me, like I started this business because I wanted to support American makers and just Americans, because our economy has not been the greatest, and uh, people are struggling, and especially like now, like farms are really struggling to stay in business because we've mass commercialized everything.
Yeah.
And if you can find a niche to fill a void and it's made in America, and we can then utilize some of these like demographics of products like what I make to support all these different family run farms, then they become successful. They spend more money in their communities, which brings back all of the dying places like local shopping, diners, local anything really. Like most of those things are dying because we're literally spending our money in places where they send all of that money to the opposite side of the world and it never comes back.
Yeah. That's tough, and then I can see it happening, and I agree because I got a lot of friends who are farmers, it's, I come from a farm community. I mean, everybody hung out with as a kid was a farmer. Like all my friends were farmers, so
Mhm.
I could see where exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, I mean, ultimately, we become stronger as a community in our communities if we're spending our money in places where that money funnels back. So, like, if you're supporting somebody that utilizes local materials in your local community, that money gets redistributed amongst your friends versus sending it over to China or anywhere.
Yeah,
Like, uh, and then you just constantly send money over and they send you goods, but none of that money gets spent back here.
right. And that's kinda something like when we buy pork or whatever, we buy it from our friends who are hog farmers because it's just we pay a little bit extra, but
Mhm.
we know what's gonna be good. We know, like,
Oh, yeah.
my brother does eggs and stuff. We get eggs from him, and we do our best to do that with food, and I think that's when you talk about, like, there's so much more stuff than just food that we have here in
Oh,
America
yeah.
that we could make, so and not to digress
Yeah.
too much, but then, what's your thoughts on, like, knife steals? So, like, are you saying MagnaCut is where we should be headed towards, and when we buy a knife, should it have MagnaCut because MagnaCut's American? Or am I wrong to say that?
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, uh, I mean, so here's the crazy thing, and I've gone down the rabbit hole too far. um, Magna Cut is actually produced by only one company in Syracuse, New York, and
Yep.
that company is currently not doing well. They're so the issue with American manufacturing is you get a lot of older people that run these companies for decades or
Mhm.
millennia now, and they don't update their systems or their equipment. And then
Yep.
you get far enough down the game where you're running on thin like uh like financial lines, but you have to replace all your stuff in order to keep modernizing, and you don't have anything.
Yep.
So the company that produces MagnaCut is literally for sale for 2.6 million.
I wish I had some money, that'd be wow.
Like literally, I
That's
know people that could get a bank loan for that.
yeah,
And I'm
that would
like,
be
why doesn't somebody like Benchmade or Kershaw or any knife company that has any semblance of size buy this company? They literally have 86 employees that work in Syracuse in this factory, modernize it, and literally then you become the supplier of MagnaCut to every knife company.
I
So
mean,
you,
dude, I got MagnaCut in front of me right here. This is MagnaCut, this is MagnaCut.
mhm,
What else do I got in front of on the desk, at least?
yeah,
I guess that
it's
might be it. I've got,
crazy,
like, 20 knives, but and these are 2 completely 2 different brands. I think that would
right?
be huge. The other one is, what's the other company that's going out? CPM. They're
Yeah,
American, right? They're
I think so.
they're going out as business too, so are we losing knife steals coming out of
Uh,
America?
we will if somebody doesn't step up. Magna Cut might go away forever, um, because
So,
if that company goes bankrupt, and if it's only 2.6 million, somebody's going to buy it, and it's probably not going to be somebody that actually cares about America, and they're just going to take all of that and take it to China.
see, that would be tough. It would be kinda cool to see, like I won't say like a smaller company, but a company that could take advantage of that, and I'm thinking
Mhm.
Montana Knife Company in my head right now. I wanna see
Oh
Benchmade.
yeah,
I'd love to see Spyderco. I think Montana Knife Company could explode that. I mean, how
yeah,
cool would that be? I mean, I think he could that's who comes in my brain at least when I think somebody who should buy that. They could
yeah. I
definitely be
have a
one of the
couple
people.
Magna Cut Montana knives, and like, I know how much they make a week. Literally in half a month, or let's just say 1 month, they could buy that company with their sales.
They're building a new business right now. They could then
Yeah.
I mean, would they bring it to Montana?
I mean,
Montana
it, it,
Magna Cut? Come on, that would be cool.
it depends because you also have those 80 to 90 employees that have
Yeah, that's
every
true.
ounce of knowledge on how to do the process.
And you
So
wanna keep
unless
those
you're
people.
Yeah, unless you're ready to move every single one of them to Montana, you would it would make more sense to keep them where they're at
Yeah,
because
yeah,
the cost of living in Syracuse is far less than it is in Montana, and it's also a lot easier as far as the supply chain goes to have it in Syracuse versus Montana because we've got shipping, trucking, everything that's local, like to get things around. Like that's why like the UPS and FedEx hubs are in Tennessee because it's only 7 hours from me. From
that makes
Syracuse,
sense.
it's about 11 because it's a different route. So like then you have mass distribution to the whole country, whereas Montana, you're talking 3 days.
Yeah, that's
Like,
true. It would still be a cool name, Montana
oh yeah,
Magna Cut. I just
oh
you could
yeah.
still do the name. I mean, yeah, you would have to leave the business. I mean, I just it saddens me to hear that. I mean, CPM, Magna Cut now, I mean, w maybe I'm naive, but what else is American made when it comes to knife steels that's out there?
Well, I mean, just your raw steels. Uh, the largest
What we don't
steel manufacturing facility is in Ohio.
okay,
As far as the United States goes, it's the largest one that's left. There are several, but it's the biggest one in North America. And they like where my shop is, they produce the interiors of nuclear submarines, the base plates for earth moving machines. They create most of the parts for GE train engines, and
okay.
all of that steel comes from the steel plant in Ohio. And I'm not sure exactly like the long list of different steels that they make, but I'm sure they supply a lot of them.
But how many of those are steels that we see in knives? I mean, like A2
I don't
tool
know.
steel, where's that made? I mean, that's a steel that I tell you what, whew, that's some good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely write a research paper on a lot of this stuff if you really wanted to go down that hole.
Oh, yeah. It's,
Um,
it's crazy to think about because I mean, we wanna support American, but we need I don't have the money. I mean, I don't even
no.
make enough to even think about, getting a loan for that, but there's knife companies out there that I think would absolutely capitalize and help out the community, and, I mean,
Mhm.
if if Montana, and like I said, I keep thinking Montana Knife Factory. I mean, there's a bazillion other companies that could do it, but they're the ones who I think are growing fast enough who could benefit themselves and help everybody else. Would be pretty cool. It would be cool. Or McNeese.
Well, plus Montana Knife Company, Josh Smith has spent time with Donald Trump Jr.,
Okay.
who, like, if you're walking in those circles, you have a like literally you're 3 people away from Elon Musk. Like these
Yeah.
guys have an infinite amount of money compared to us.
Yeah.
And if he wanted to have somebody's ear who would be an investor in something that could be astronomically life-changing for the knife community, he could make it happen in a heartbeat if he wanted to. I mean, a big thing is Josh Smith hasn't taken a single dime of investments. Everything has been done through sales. So they owe no one anything. Um,
I mean, if
which
anybody's listening and watching this in the chat live or watching this after the fact, and you got any bug and able to bug somebody's ear, reach out to Montana Knife Company. Send them an email or message them. Say, hey, we need your help. I mean, like I said, I that's just who I think of. I mean, it just
Mhm.
seems like that would be the place that could do it.
Yeah, and I mean, I've messaged with Brandon, who's his business partner, because at one point I was pitching custom products to them. Um, but I feel like it would take a pretty in depth conversation to figure out like, is this something worth their time? I mean, I think it is, but it would have to
Wow. Oh yeah.
be like gamed out.
I mean, I know where he started in his garage, and where he is now, like, he started out he's an American-made company, I
Mhm.
feel like he would have the understanding of, like, those employees that work there right now, and it would
Yeah.
only benefit him. I mean, can you imagine now you make the steel that goes in your knives, like,
It would
that would
reduce the cost.
yeah, I mean, it would be one step closer. So that's where, like, a knife company like that I could see Benchmade. I don't know why Benchmade wouldn't do it. I mean, it
Yeah.
would be cool to see, I mean, a lot more MagnaCut. You're already using it in your knives already.
Well, and the fact is that like Josh Smith is also friends with the guys over at Origin who are absolutely obsessed with owning the entire supply chain.
I mean, I you're kinda I guess we're kinda going on this rabbit hole. You're monopolizing it, but you're not though. I mean, you're making knives
Right.
still for everybody else. I mean,
Well,
when,
and I
I
mean,
think of
ultimately, if you're selling like the maximum amount of what that supplier can even supply, like Origin, they own this whole supply chain, but they can't even keep up with the demand.
yeah.
So I bet Montana Knife Company would get to the point where, like, if they exclusively were the ones that selling MagnaCut and they owned the supply chain, I bet they one it would blow up their sales to the point
Oh,
where
yeah. No
they'd
question
have
about
to
it.
build 17 more places.
Yeah.
um,
Oh, yeah.
but they would completely own the demand for MagnaCut.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, this is kind of off topic, but on the same topic, Ramon Chavez, right?
Hmm.
Love his stuff. This is a production run. This is not American made, I'm sorry.
Sure.
But he makes his own custom knives. I can't afford that custom knife, so that's just why there's not one sitting on my desk. But I would love to. I would throw away all my Chavez for one custom made because everybody loves these knives. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really cool, but if you can get one directly from him, that's gonna be even better. So now think about it. You're buying a knife and you're buying a MagnaCut knife. Now you know that, like, Montana Knife Company, just use them as an example. They make the steel that goes in the knife. So now I got this Benchmade and I got this Kershaw, both win MagnaCut. I'm going to wanna buy a Montana Knife Company knife solely because I like MagnaCut, and now I want their knife because
Yeah.
it like you were saying, that's what's gonna build I mean, their company is gonna explode. I mean, there's no question about it that if they're the main maker of the material that goes in the knife, I mean, whew, man, any company that's listening right
Yeah.
now, take advantage of this. You got the money.
Well,
Listen,
and they're actually working on releasing folders in the next year or two.
I heard that, and that would be cool. I don't have
Game
them.
changing.
I need one. I really do. I'm a huge fan of Steve from, see,
So
that's a
this
little
is
big
a
for me.
yeah, this is a hunting knife they did with Knock On, which is an archery company.
I love it though.
Most of my knives are this size.
Okay.
Um, like I've got four of them.
Okay.
But one of the ones they have, or they have a lot of EDC style like size knives now that are like
They
they're still three hundred
released more.
dollars. Like some of them I think are 225 for their very smallest, but I think they're great knives.
Montana Knife Company came out with I gotta look up the name. It's a new one, and I just saw it. They just posted it. I can't remember the name of it. And I really liked it. And oh, the Meat Church. I saw that one, but I can't
Mm.
remember the name of it. It's like it's very, very new.
Oh, not that the Meat Church one they've released several
That
times.
yeah, no, that's a big boy.
Um,
Brady showed me his. It's an EDC nib. Can you search for newest?
hmm.
Let's see here.
One second. I'll be right back.
Okay. I'm gonna look it up here. Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Montana Knife Company. I think I I I don't own any in my actual current rotation, but it's gonna happen. I'm gonna keep looking for here while he is out looking. But man, there's some cool stuff. And man, thinking about it, man, wouldn't that be cool to see Montana Knife Company do that? Let me see if I'm trying to find the name here. All knives. Let's see here. You can search by. I wish I could show you guys my screen here. See if I can do that. Maybe I can. Can you guys see it? Let's see here. No, maybe I can't. Let's see. Is Blackfoot's good size? The Elkhorn is another one. I don't know if you guys have seen that one. That's a good one as well. Gosh, the other one here, I wish I could remember the name of it. All right, I gotta look it up on Instagram here. It's got to be a good one. Anybody in the chat right now have a Montana knife company? If you do, let us know. I'm curious. All right, Montana Knife Company. Let's see here. It's brand new. Oh, I think it's the Rocker. I think the Rocker is the one I like. I think I found it. I think it's called the Rocker. Yeah.
Found which one you were thinking.
I think it's the Rocker. It dropped early this month on the 13th. Yeah, it's called the Rocker. That one I think kind of appeals to my size when it comes to a fixed blade EDC knife that I'm going to carry on me daily. I'm trying to find it up on now. I found the name of it, but I got to find the price because I don't think it's very cheap, unfortunately.
No.
Oh yeah, it's $300 plus it's orange though. Ooh, orange and black.
Yeah. Speaking of orange and black, they released a tactile turn pen.
Ooh,
which I think is still available on their site. And then they did a collab with Proof Razor.
Oh,
and it is a 100% machined aluminum razor made in Montana. And then Tactile Turn actually did the coatings on it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. See, I'm gonna go down a rabbit hole because they appeal to me. American made, the colors. I want that orange and black work sharp as well.
Oh, so I have not used or carried this at all, and I was thinking of reselling it, but I bought this last year, and it matches all of this stuff. Are you ready for this? This is.
I see a little accent. Oh yes, yeah.
Full tang.
Is it DLC
Yeah.
or PVD?
Good question.
What's the name of it?
Info card. This is the Super Cup Drop Point Hunter Blaze Orange Cerakote.
So it's Cerakoted. There you go.
Yeah.
Cerakoted. So that's that would hold up though quite a bit. I mean Cerakote is a powder that they spray on and then they bake it into the metal. So that would be pretty good.
Well,
I'm pretty sure Essie does that with their knives too.
Plus, it's ball bearing steel. So they literally it's melted down ball bearings that they then turn into a knife.
Dang.
So it's very tough.
Ball bearing. I can't.
This I think was $325 plus shipping.
Dang.
They also have so it goes well with the razor.
Yes.
And the pen.
Get that work sharp field sharpener on there. You got yourself a whole weekend right there.
I have Montana Knife Company has a work sharp field sharpener, and I got it. I don't really know where it is. Yeah, I'm a little obsessed with Montana Knife Company.
I didn't even know. You know what? I bet I've been subliminally seeing that this whole live and didn't even realize it. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. See, I wish I could get in their DMs and help them out, or not help them. Not that they need my help at all, but I need their help. Let's just put it that way. I would love.
Yeah, but I really like the orange and black combo.
Yeah. Although those scales on that black one would look really cool with that orange in its own way.
Yeah. So this is actually an older design they did with knock-on, but I love the texture because there's no slipping at all.
Oh man.
And they have a smaller version too. It's like that long maybe.
See, that would be more up my avenue as far as like fixed blades. Like this is too small. This is a. I don't know if you can see it very well. There we go.
Oh yeah.
This is too small,
I'm,
but it's really good for EDC. And of
yeah.
course, this is too big, the county com. My actual
Hmm.
EDC knives that I have, I literally just took them off my desk because they were sitting right here before we went live. When I was setting up
Sure.
my camera, I took them all off. But that one would be just a tad bit big. Although when I'm out in the woods, though, I'd love that.
Hmm. Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
the whole thing they pitched was like, if you're in the woods and you drop this, you're not gonna lose
Yeah.
it.
You're not gonna lose that bad boy. And that's why I put lanyards on a lot of my stuff with really bright beads. Like my
Yeah.
Benchmade Grizzly Ridge, I have a long lanyard on there and I have a shiny bead on there because
Hmm.
if I drop it, I want to be able to pick it up. All those
Yeah.
orange accents here. Of course, that's why this Benchmade, that's why this is made for the water. It's made to be if you drop that, you can find it really easy, which makes
Hmm.
sense. I mean, I'm gonna have to get myself a Montana Knife Company knife. I mean, there's no question about it. I
Oh
just don't
yeah.
have I just don't have $300 to spend right now.
Oh, and the box that the pen came in.
I like that. That's still available?
Yeah, I think. Well, so they sold out originally, and then they brought it back, and they have the mini click, or not the mini click, mini whatever this is, and then this is the full length.
Oh, the bolt action and the mini click,
Yeah.
the switch, think is what they call it.
So there's two different length versions of this that Montana Knife Company did, and cool thing is, I don't know if you can see the clip.
Oh, does it
Oops,
say something on it?
it says Montana Knife Company.
I'm trying to pull up a picture of it, but apparently I can't. Does Tactile Turn not have it on their website, or is they only
No, it's on
exclusive
the
to?
Montana Knife Company website.
Oh, there I
Yeah,
go, going down the wrong rabbit hole. There we go. Okay, $125. So this
yeah,
the
it's not
mini
bad.
and then just the pen. I kind of think the mini would make more sense. The pen I carry is a mini. Well, I do like that,
Okay.
and then it's got the razor in there.
Yep. The razor is amazing. I actually did a live with Andy Abel, who's the owner of Proof Razor. Um, they sent me their standard one for free in exchange for a video, and then I bought the Montana Knife Company one because I loved it. Um, and it's supporting two companies I like.
Yeah, I was gonna say you're going down a nice rabbit hole of companies to support, and that's a big thing. I think collabs are huge. A lot of people
Hmm.
that do collabs. I mean, it's a pretty big thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
I try
Well,
to tell myself I'm not a pen guy, but man, I'm staring over at this pen right now, and
oh yeah, it's
I'm liking it.
beautiful. I use it pretty much every day. I have it on one of my notebooks. I've got tactile turn pens everywhere. Like I've got this one, and then I've got them at my shop, my store, in my car.
I see.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of like watches. Like once you go down that rabbit hole, it's like it's so hard to get out. Like watches is another one. Like it's hard to not want them and then to spend the money
Hmm.
on it. It's difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, if my company was big enough, which it's not, um, I plan on doing my own version of this razor uh,
Okay.
with them, and then I also plan on doing a pen with tactile
Ben.
turn. But like the razors, you're talking 10K for a minimum order. Um, for tactile turn, you're talking about a minimum of 15K to get a
Yeah.
custom one like this. So, and I don't have the following or people that care about what I make enough.
Yet.
Yeah.
It's a work in progress. We need to figure out how to get you out there further and get people to see your stuff. Because you got a dang good following on Instagram. I think
Yeah.
everybody I know
But
has your
Instagram doesn't
channel.
really mean anything as far as
That's
followers anymore,
that's true. That is true.
sadly.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
like we said earlier in the beginning, it's it's tough. And that's where I think YouTube is the where to go. And when you think about let's just throw it out there, Blade HQ. Look how
Hmm.
big they are. They are big because of YouTube, and you can anybody can argue that, but I can stand behind that. They were big before YouTube, but I knew nothing about Blade HQ until I saw Ben, I saw Zach. They were
Hmm.
running those YouTube videos, and I watched them. I didn't even know what Blade HQ was. I just watched those guys getting into watch their stuff. It's like, oh yeah, maybe I would buy from that store because their YouTube is what drew them in, and that's just kind of my opinion.
Yeah.
I like,
Oh,
Chris is like, yeah,
Chris.
we have almost 12K on Instagram, and it means nothing. We get maybe 100 people who see the post. See, that's hard. Yeah, and that's I've been telling Chris because Chris is doing lives. He's got to stick with the YouTube thing. I think making
Hmm.
some evergreen content, just maybe like a weekly video, because is you were saying like go doing the lives, like people will watch the lives. The thing is, I don't know how many people come back and watch the lives. Like you almost have to use the live content and turn it into videos because lives don't get pushed out after the fact as much as they like a long form content video would. And
Oh,
that's where I think,
like when I do a live, the most views I've gotten during the live was like 15. And
yeah,
then most of my lives after the fact, you get about 75 to 100.
which
Uh,
is good
so
in all honesty.
yeah, which for me is okay. I mean, obviously, if you have more followers, you get better traction because I only
Oh
have like
yeah,
1,300 right now.
no, you're 1500.
Or sure.
I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
See, I think that's where you're right. You have a good following on Instagram, and maybe it's just because it's just the changes of things. So got to find a way to push out the content and figure ways to push your product out there. Because I see your product. I mean your candles. I mean I couldn't tell you. I don't think I could go through a feed without seeing a candle in one of your posts, and I love it. I mean I'm guilty. I love putting your candle or. I mean, shoot! Just in the last my post today, I think it's got a picture of your product. Let me just
Oh,
it's in the background. It's there, but it's blurry. But the one yesterday for sure. Here we go.
oh yeah.
And
Oh,
that's
that
your
was
product.
the leather bomb, you mean?
Yeah, that one's the one you made for Awesome Hank.
Oh
So
yeah.
it underneath there is your beard balm. So it's stacked on there. I should flip them
Oh
around
yeah.
if I ever use that again on my because it sits in front of me on my desk. And then
Hmm.
your candles, like I mean, your product is all out there. We just need to find out how to push your product out further, so more
Well,
more eyes
Chris
can
and the
be on it.
guys have a bunch of it at House of Blades.
There we go.
Yeah. Um,
Obviously, huge supporter over here at House of Blades.
I think the hard part is also like I don't do a ton of marketing. Like I don't pay for marketing. So like they'll have it at House of Blades, but it's not like Benchmade where you're going to see their stuff out everywhere on the internet. So
Yeah.
people are going to go to House of Blades to find something. Like no one's going to House of Blades to find my product. And
Yes.
that's something that I need to work on is make it so that you've got all these sales channels, but I need to be pushing people to those channels. It's just
Right.
hard when you don't have a budget to do that. Like I'm not selling $250,000 worth of knives a week like Montana Knife Company. Um,
I I heard, and this could be I could be wrong, but Montana Knife Company and Benchmade, for examples, they make these really extremely cool videos
mhm.
on Instagram, and they pay a lot of money on them. But I was told that those videos don't actually sell anything for them. They they just make the videos and they spend a lot of money on them. Because and I use them as an example because both their videos are very, very similar, and I could dream to be able to make the content video that they have, somebody riding on a horse and they flip to somebody on a boat or somebody in
Yeah.
the back, using the knives, like, that's the content I just dream to make. Like, I just I wish I had the resources and the time. I mean, obviously, I work a regular job.
Well, so Brandon, who's the co-owner, his background is media and marketing. So
Okay.
he actually has a team of guys at Montana Knife Company on staff, and they make all of the content.
See, I didn't
Um,
know that.
so that was kind of like his contribution in partnership was doing all of that,
Okay.
which is why they've blown up as much as they have. Now, I've done stuff like that for other companies. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Bison Union. This is one
I've
of their hats.
Yeah, because of you, I've heard of them.
Okay. Well, I did a lot of their content several years ago. It was 2019 through like 22 or something like that.
Okay.
Um, but like it's kind of hard when you're a one man band and if you want to film something epic, you, you either have to have a drone following you or you have to hire somebody else. And I just
Uh-huh.
haven't done that.
I know all too well, obviously, trying to make videos for myself or, like, just doing the e-care videos, test videos, or filming myself. It's like, you have to have multiple cameras, and I've been
Hmm.
trying to experiment in different ways because we were talking earlier, you have to make, and you don't have to, but if you make content with a person inside there in that video, like, look at Peter McKinnon. Everybody praises, like, how cool his videos are. I am one of them, but think about it. You're seeing Peter McKinnon. He's got his hands out. Who's holding the camera? And you look at 75% of his footage, it's not him holding the camera. It's somebody
No,
filming him. But people don't realize that. And we praise him on how well his photography is and all that stuff, but it's not always him holding the camera. And you don't even subconsciously think about that. And that's
it's
what I've been
Captain
trying to do
Kirk.
with my videos. Yeah, he's got Kurt. Everybody's gotta have a Kurt like Taylor Martin's got a Ricky. I mean, there's somebody else behind that camera that's not them.
Yeah, and I mean, it does get tough to the point where, like Peter McKinnon, he's finally at a point, and he's been there for a little while, where he has somebody else filming him. But the reason that a lot of us, at least me, originally followed him was his content where he was making it and sharing
Yep,
about his process in filmmaking and photography, and it was him doing everything. He didn't have the
yep.
money to pay anybody. And now I find myself a lot of times I'll pull up one of his videos and I'm just like, meh, because it has nothing to do with anything that I'm interested in. It's just like something he's interested in, which is
Yeah.
cool if you're a Peter McKinnon fanboy, but that's not why I followed him.
No, I fully agree with you. I will tell you what, biggest thing that kinda drove me back just in the last month on Peter McKinnon was he made an EDC photography. Him and, is it Current Spaces? They pulled their EDC
Yes.
out of their pocket, and then each one of them took pictures of the other person's EDC. Oh, God, I thought that was so cool. Like, it drew me in because that
Hmm.
day, like, I was getting ready for work, and I'm thinking about, like, making a photo, and I saw
Yeah.
that, and that was cool, and then they go through the process. To me, that
Hmm.
that drew me back in, like, a ton.
Well, and I think EDC needs to now evolve. So for me, like the whole concept of just taking flat lays of your stuff is kind of dumb.
It's
Like,
it's I love doing it, but it's kinda going away.
yeah, like I want to see content now where somebody goes through their day and actually shows them actually using what's in their pockets. Like,
Yeah,
don't just carry crap for the sake of carrying it. Like, nobody carries three knives and
that's true.
actually uses them all.
I will carry a Leatherman and a blade on me, but I don't I'll be honest with you, I don't use them both every single day. I might use one or the
Mhm,
other, but and you're absolutely right. I think the hard part about that is you have to then vlog it, and
mhm,
then you have to be ready to, like, and I've tried to do that, 'cause I love that stuff too. If I'm making a video like that, then I gotta have somebody holding the camera, or I have to bring a tripod with me. So now my EDC is gonna turn into like, I just recently got a GoPro because I wanna do
oh,
what you're
nice.
describing. So I've gotta now have this and this, and then I gotta get some work done, at the same time. So you're
Yeah.
doing 2 things at one time. You're filming yourself, but now I also have to, like, a simple task, like go out and break down some cardboard boxes or whatever, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
this would turn into an EDC almost as much as this at the same time.
Yeah.
That's the hard part, and I think that's why we don't see a lot of that content because who's gonna be able to constantly film themselves around unless you're like Peter McKinnon and you or, Taylor. I mean, I'm not knocking them either by no means,
No.
but you're going around and you're doing work, and I think that's hard to do. I mean, and I
Mhm.
think that you're right, though. I'm reading, Chris's, he says, "I film
Oh,
all our
yeah.
content with an iPhone 14 Pro and an Elgato webcam. I want a real camera, but can't justify it." See, I only justified a real camera because I like to take photos with it, and then it also alleviates not needing my phone in hand anymore, and for the longest time, I was taking photos with my phone, and you can take videos with your phones. Who's that, the cowboy that, I just watched one of his he made an EDC video yesterday. I can't remember his name. He's like a ranch hand. He's a really smooth talker, and he uses an
Mhm.
iPhone 14 for everything, and the guy's got like 1,000,000 followers. I mean, you don't have to have a real camera, and this is to you, Chris. You can use what you got. The best camera is the one you have in your pocket. We've heard that 1,000,000 times, but it's absolutely true. Same thing goes. The best knife is the one that you have on you. I mean, there's no better one at the end of the day.
Have you ever heard of Wrangler Star?
Yeah, yeah, he's one. I don't think he uses a real camera.
No, he uses the new 14, or he uses the 16 now, I think.
Okay.
But he has several million followers, and every video he's made in the last like 5 years, he's done on an iPhone.
Yeah. I See, I'm a sucker for good, smooth, cinematic. I love, like, quality. People don't care that much about it. I mean,
Yeah.
here's the thing, you're not on a real camera right now, and I'm on, this fancy machine in front of me. Does it
Mhm.
matter? No, does it really matter? I mean, the viewers can tell us right now. What's the difference? We're both having a conversation. If you're engaged in what the content is, that's what matters. And that's
Yeah.
what I gotta keep telling myself too, like, you know, if I gotta get a shot, like, just pull my phone out. Why don't I just film it with that and call it a day? Why do I need to go out and make the lighting like, if you saw this, I got a light here and a light there and a light there, what does it matter? Does it really matter?
Probably not. And especially if
No,
people are like extrapolating information out of what you're saying, and
exactly.
it's good, they don't care.
Exactly. It's a give or take situation. See, I'm both. I mean, I can appreciate it because I was a photographer at one time. I did it for, I worked for a guy and I got out of that because I didn't like weddings. I didn't like portrait photography. I don't
Yeah.
like taking pictures of people. I like taking pictures of like a knife or a product,
Mhm.
but man, people, they get too judgmental about it. And then if you ever done a wedding, that's a whole
Oh,
nother topic.
it's a one and done, so don't mess up.
Yeah. You ever started filming a video for YouTube and then realized that like maybe you had uh the f-stop at like 1.4 and everything's out of focus and you don't realize it, or you forgot a extra battery out and about, or an extra
Mhm.
SD card, whatever. I mean, there's so many things that can go wrong, but sitting in like doing a video, that no whatever, you can redo it. But at a wedding, no, that's one and done. If you mess one thing up, you everything was blown out, you're just in trouble. You better be really good at editing.
I showed up to a shoot one time, and it was for like furniture in a hotel or something. And
Okay.
I had in my mind the way that it was going to go, and then I get there, and I didn't bring a tripod because I was like, oh, I'll just shoot it because we're just getting good angles and whatnot. No,
Yep.
like the lady that had, she had something completely different in mind, and it needed to be like perfect straight edges and everything. And so I had to literally run to Walmart and buy a crappy little tripod just so that I could have the camera still.
Yep.
um,
Yep.
I was just like, but
It
those things happen.
Yeah. I mean, here's the other thing with I hate using a tripod
Hmm.
if you're taking photos, but the problem is sometimes you need to if you don't have a lighting. you don't have good
Right.
lighting and you want to get a good solid shot, you gotta bump that you gotta bump a couple things around. And if you don't have a tripod, it's just gonna be a blurry photo. You're not gonna have that super sharp shot that you really want. But I'm also a sucker though for some good bokeh. I love the
Yeah.
creamy background. I'll be honest with you, like I gravitate towards that. So if that lady hired me, I mean, I would have to change a lot of stuff up because I'm like you, like I want some unique angles. I don't want to do that straight on product photography. I'll do it and I will still enjoy it, but I would probably squeeze in a couple of my own stuff.
Yeah.
Nope. Did you just freeze? Uh-oh.
Do you hear me?
Oh, there you are.
Must have been the internet connection or something. I don't know. Well, I don't know if anybody's here
I don't know.
or what.
I'm actually about up to my time limit on my end here. I might have to
Sure.
dip out here in just a moment though.
Well, then
Just
why don't we wrap it up?
sure.
And I mean, definitely thanks for taking the time to chat.
No, I enjoyed the chat, enjoyed the conversation, enjoyed, hanging out. This is because this is to me, this is what's fun. I enjoy just talking to cool people, talking about cool gear, and honestly, I learned a little bit. I'm gonna be out probably looking for a mag light right now. Like that's gonna be on my
Heck
list
yeah.
'cause I don't have an American made EDC flashlight. I've got some really good ones, but I gotta I
Mhm.
gotta I gotta make it a full American made. I know, trying to think what else I don't have that's not American made, but hey, see, like I said, I learned something today.
Did you notice I stole your logo and put it in the
Oh,
background?
yeah. I love it. I love seeing it. Looks good there. Looks good there. Be on the lookout. There's gonna be some you might see that logo some other places
Oh, heck yeah.
and, some other places too. I like the little axe. I wanna kinda push it out there a little bit. It's fun, little it's fun. To me, if anybody knows it, I used to say it a lot more. Maybe I should say it more. It's about I like to say swing the axe. I know I made a Hank with Awesome Hank that said swing
Mhm.
the axe. And my whole motto is about taking chances, do things that might be out of your ordinary, you know, stepping to another level. Actually, I think that's no, but it's taking a chance. Like I started a YouTube channel. I started taking photos, and it's opened up so many fun opportunities. It's broadened my horizon. And that's what the axe kind of represents, if anybody was ever curious. It's swing the axe, it represents, take a chance, or as Nike says,
Oh,
just
yeah.
do it.
Yeah, we should definitely do like a collab candle and anything you're
I agree.
open to.
I'm I'm definitely open for something cool. Definitely open. Absolutely. I know
Sweet.
we kinda talked about it earlier, and I'm still down. I think it'd be fun. I'm up for something cool.
Awesome. Well, I'm going to end the stream and thank you to everyone that has joined us. And I hope you have a
Absolutely.
fantastic day and catch you later.
See you guys.